Boruto switching places with Kawaki is one of the greatest plot twists in manga history. We had the reveal of Omnipotence, an ability that warps existence, friends becoming enemies, and even Boruto losing everything, to the point of even losing one of his own eyes. All of this happened over the course of 2 chapters, which might be remembered as the best chapters in Boruto's manga. Now, with that said, I don't think many people understood what happened in that plot twist, because to truly understand what happened, you also have to understand the Matrix.
He is the one.
You see, recently, the writer of Boruto revealed that one of the main inspirations behind this manga is the story of the Matrix trilogy. And if you've read Boruto's manga, you've likely noticed a few similarities between the 2 universes, but I'll save that for another video. The point of this one is to explain why there's more to this plot twist than what we initially thought, and it all goes back to the concept of why. Now, before we address the more philosophical aspect, it is important that we understand the sequence of events that led to this event taking place. To do that, we need to go back to the end of chapter 76, when Kawaki noticed Boruto's expression while seemingly talking to Momoshiki Otsutsuki. This to Kawaki meant that Momoshiki was up to something, which could endanger the people of the village, primarily Naruto. That is when he was reminded of the sadness on Naruto's face when he tried killing Boruto the first time, which caused him to somewhat reconsider. Though in hindsight, Kawaki had no intentions of letting things remain as they are. He just needed to do one thing first, a minor errand as he described it. This then led to the events of chapter 77, where Kawaki pays Naruto a visit to express his gratitude. He goes on to say that before Naruto breathed life into him, he was just a walking corpse with no reason to live. He changed him. That is how important Naruto is to Kawaki, to the point that he would do anything to protect him, even die without hesitation. That is the catalyst for Omnipotence taking place. Kawaki's need to protect Naruto from Boruto, who is now to him indistinguishable from Momoshiki. So while he handles that threat, he needed Naruto to stay safe, which is why he sealed him away. Now this then leads us to Momoshiki's Blue Eyes prophecy, which some have incorrectly assumed to just mean Ada's Senringan. I mean, it does make sense since it casted the ability would switch the lives of Boruto and Kawaki, but it also does go a bit deeper than that. You see, a lot of people miss this due to all the crazy stuff happening in chapter 78, but moments after Kawaki slashed Boruto's eye and fled the scene, Momoshiki appeared to him and said, "You've lost one blue eye. I think you know this, but this is just the beginning. You'll go on to lose everything in very short order." So by Momoshiki associating Boruto's lost eye with this prophecy, it's clear that he wasn't referring to Ada's, even though she's the one who casted Omnipotence. And the reason for this is the fact that she wasn't the reason why it happened. Now, to understand what I mean by this, you have to look at it from the perspective of the story being told. It is clear that the writer believes or wants Boruto to believe that his actions or lack thereof is responsible for his current situation. We said in the fact that he has Boruto take full responsibility for Kawaki's actions, saying that the one who drove Kawaki into this corner was none other than me. He has his own sense of justice. He tried to resolve the Momoshiki situation even with the risk of Dad hating him, resulting in him killing his own brother. It was all due to my weakness. I can finally see that now. So what Boruto is saying here is that Kawaki only had to do what he did due to Boruto's own decisions. He did indeed put the safety of everyone first and allowed Kawaki to kill him initially. Yet after being saved by Momoshiki, he no longer wanted to take that route, even though he knew the possibility of Momoshiki possessing his body and killing everyone around him was still there. And this did indeed happen again. After Kawaki slashed Boruto's eye atop the Akage monument, he couldn't control Momoshiki or suppress his power, even though he himself wasn't low on chakra. So this event proved that Kawaki was right about Boruto being a ticking time bomb that could go off at any moment, thus ending the life of someone they both care about. So Boruto not being willing to do what needs to be done and fighting to stay alive led to Kawaki sealing away Naruto and making that wish upon Ada's Omnipotence. It led to him losing everything. Now, just to be clear, Boruto didn't do this because he was selfish and just wanted to stay alive regardless of what happens. The truth is that he was just naive. Naive in believing that he could better wield Momoshiki's power after becoming 100% Otsutsuki, which ended up not being the case. By the way, this leads back into the Blue Eyes prophecy as well, since being blue-eyed is actually an idiom which refers to naivete. This means lacking experience, wisdom, or even judgment. So, when Momoshiki says Boruto's blue eyes will take everything from him, he's referring to Boruto's naive belief that he had the power to stop this from happening. So the term blue eyes in this context would be a double entendre, which is a particular way of wording that is devised to have a double meaning, of which one is typically obvious, that being Ada's Senringan, whereas the other one conveys a message, that being Boruto's naivete. Now, there is more to this prophecy, and it might sound a bit contradictory given what I said earlier, but Boruto didn't lose everything, and there's a reason for this. You see, many are under the impression that the future Momoshiki saw was changed by Sarada or some other entity, but that isn't really true. The truth is that Momoshiki never saw a future where Boruto lost everything. What he saw were events that could have led to that future. Now, to understand what I mean by this, let's get back to the concept of why. This refers to the underlying purpose, cause, or belief that drives a person to do something. It is the fundamental reason behind an action, essentially asking why are you doing this, and getting to the deeper motivation rather than just the surface level what are you doing. This is very important because it is the driving force behind why Momoshiki thought the future would play out in his favor, and that's because he couldn't understand the why. The why is also a concept brought up in the Matrix, which also led to the future Agent Smith was able to see not coming to fruition. Now, to understand the connection between these two storylines, let's take a journey down the rabbit hole that is the Matrix trilogy.
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why? Why do you do it? Why? Why get up?
You see, when we first met Smith, he had a misanthropic philosophy. He despised humanity and also had a vision that machines were superior to humans and saw himself as part of this superior race.
Because as soon as we started thinking for you, it really became our civilization, which is, of course, what this is all about. Evolution, Morpheus. Evolution. Like the dinosaur. Human beings are a disease. A cancer of this planet. You are a plague. And we are the cure.
Now, something happened after he was destroyed by Neo in the first movie. By doing this, Neo created the negative part of himself. Everything wrong with humanity was reflected in Smith, thus he goes from being a misanthrope to a dangerous, nihilistic force that sees no purpose in existence itself. Now, of course, you can see the clear similarities to Momoshiki as well. He believed that humans were inferior creatures and touted the Otsutsuki's as gods above man. That's why Boruto, who defeated a god, can't remain an ordinary human. He must also become a god by way of becoming Momoshiki himself. Now, another thing to point out is that Smith was pretty much a program that was given a task within the Matrix. He didn't have a choice or didn't understand the concept of it. This changed when Neo destroyed him by entering his body at the end of the first movie, which then infected him with the anomaly. Now, Neo is the anomaly, the ultimate consequence of granting humans the choice to accept or reject the Matrix. And since he infected Smith with the anomaly, he now also understands the concept of choice.
Now here I stand because of you, Mr. Anderson. Because of you, I'm no longer an agent of this system. Because of you, I've changed. I'm unplugged. A new man, so to speak. Like you, apparently free.
This also goes back to Momoshiki as well. He doesn't understand human emotions. Amado described the Otsutsuki's as alien parasites. They only possess one goal, which is to devour the life of a planet. So the Otsutsuki, similar to Smith and the other programs, seem to have only one shared mission, which is why every Otsutsuki we've seen so far shared the same goal. It's embedded in their programming. Consume the life of a planet using the Tentos, consume its chakra fruit, and then evolve into a god. Now, the difference with Smith and Momoshiki is that he doesn't struggle with the concept of choice per se. We have seen Otsutsukis like Kaguya choose not to devour the planet, likely because she found a reason not to. So, Momoshiki doesn't need to understand the concept of choice, he needs to understand the why. You see, this was a major focus in the final moments of the Matrix as well. Why does one make certain decisions? Why does one keep fighting? You see, the Eyes of the Oracle is pretty much one of the most powerful weapons in the Matrix. Using this ability, one can predict future events to a certain extent, but even this powerful weapon has its drawbacks. One cannot see beyond choices they do not understand. Now, Neo also gained access to this power as well, but couldn't see past Trinity's death because he didn't understand why to choose between saving Trinity or humanity. This immense weakness of this ability is what was used to defeat Smith as well.
I told you before, no one can see beyond a choice they don't understand. And I mean no one.
What choice?
It doesn't matter.
So in this clip, the Oracle was alluding to a future event in which she allows herself to be assimilated by Smith, but she couldn't see past her decision because she couldn't understand it. So Smith assimilated the Oracle, which means that he now possesses the ability to see the future. So he saw Neo on the ground defeated and thought he saw the end.
Wait. I've seen this. This is it. This is the end.
So Smith foresaw that he defeated Neo, but didn't see what would happen next because he couldn't understand Neo's choice to continue fighting, much less why Neo would allow himself to be assimilated. So Smith can't see past Neo's choices because he doesn't understand the why. So Smith asks Neo, why?
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why? Why do you do it?
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Now Neo's answer to this was because he chooses to, and Smith couldn't comprehend this illogical answer, so he got angry. This then led to Smith losing to Neo because he couldn't see beyond Neo being on the ground before him because he couldn't understand why he will continue fighting. This then takes us back to Boruto and Momoshiki's prophecy about him losing everything. Momoshiki saw this future for Boruto and thought it was a certainty and thought it was definitely going to happen. He was going to win.
Heed this warning. Beware, for those blue eyes shall eventually take everything from you.
This played out in chapter 79 when Ada used the programming language of the gods known as Omnipotence to switch the lives of Boruto and Kawaki. So Boruto became the enemy of the village, lost his parents to Kawaki, and had nowhere to turn, or so Momoshiki thought. You see, while Boruto did lose a lot due to Omnipotence, he didn't really lose everything. Sarada and Sumire weren't affected by the jutsu, which then led to Sarada convincing Sasuke to help Boruto. Momoshiki didn't see this when he glimpsed into the future, and that's because he doesn't understand the why. As he silently said in chapter 80, it wasn't supposed to go like this. Why would Boruto not despair and turn his body over to him when he has nothing left? Why would he continue fighting? Why would Sasuke help Boruto for his daughter's sake, even though he perceives Boruto to be an enemy?
Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why? Why do you do it?
So, Momoshiki, just like Smith, can't understand why these humans continue to persevere because he doesn't understand certain human emotions.
And all of them as artificial as the Matrix itself.
Although, only a human mind could invent something as insipid as love.
That is why he thought Boruto lost everything in the future he saw. He knew that everyone turned against him and were hunting him down. That is what he saw in the future, which he confirmed in chapter 76 based on the tableau Boruto was able to see. This to him meant that Boruto would lose everything since he's now the outsider who killed the 7th Hokage. He didn't really see Boruto lose everything, but by virtue of these events he witnessed, he thought it was a certainty. And since he couldn't fathom why someone would persevere under these circumstances, he couldn't see past the point where Boruto did. So the future itself didn't change. Momoshiki just couldn't see it in its entirety. This is the underlying meaning behind the plot twist of chapter 79. It isn't just about the spectacle, it also addresses the faults of these characters involved, which led to the events taking place. So Boruto's naivete, Momoshiki not being able to understand the why, Kawaki's need to protect Naruto, and Ada's desire to protect Kawaki. All of this contributed to this masterful sequence of events, and once you understand this, you can truly appreciate the brilliance of this plot twist. With that said, that is it for this video, and if you guys want to see a full breakdown of every similarity between Boruto and The Matrix, I have a video dropping next week that goes in depth on every similarity between the two universes. So if you guys want to see it, subscribe and also drop a like on this video to show your support. Also, if you guys have been here before, the Matrix section of this one might seem a tad bit familiar, and that's because it should be. I did mention this in my video on Boruto becoming one with Momoshiki, And the reason why I thought it would be relevant here as well is because I don't think one can truly understand the brilliance of this plot twist without also understanding the why, and also why that connects to the Matrix, which of course inspired Boruto. So that's why that's here as well. That's it guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.